Karoline Leavitt is back, and she's not holding anything back. From shutting down a smug French politician who quickly remembered why he never engages in debates about Germany to leaving Jeff Bezos visibly uncomfortable, every moment is pure gold. This isn't just commentary, it's a masterclass in confidence. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second. Buckle up, because what you're about to see is nothing short of legendary.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
A French politician demanded that the U.S. return the Statue of Liberty while forgetting one important detail: France gave it as a gift. And his party represents only 14% of French voters according to the recent EU elections. So technically, he's not even speaking for the majority that donated the statue in the first place. But here's the funny part: it's a left-wing politician making the demand, as if that side still carries the global banner of freedom. You can't make this stuff up.
Former President Biden, he's set to deliver his first major speech since leaving office tonight. I wanted to get the president's response, or if he plans to respond to this, and comments on what Democrats are calling cuts to Social Security.
My first reaction when seeing former President Biden was speaking tonight was, I'm shocked that he is speaking at nighttime. I thought his bedtime was much earlier than his speech tonight. I understand the topic of his speech will be Social Security. Let me make it very clear ahead of former President Biden's remarks. President Trump, is absolutely certain about protecting Social Security benefits for law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens and seniors who have paid into this program.
I still don't understand why Biden thought giving that speech was a good idea. Public speaking hasn't been his strong point, and this time he proved it again. From the moment he stepped up, it felt like a slow-motion train wreck: mumbled lines, unfinished thoughts, random tangents, and a confused audience wondering what he was even trying to say. It wasn't just awkward, it was uncomfortable. But just when you think politics couldn't get more surreal, Karoline Leavitt steps in. While Biden struggled through prepared remarks, she delivered clean, sharp takedowns in real time. Her responses to Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz were absolutely brutal. She didn't just disagree with them, she completely tore apart their talking points with clarity and confidence. Moments like these show exactly why Karoline is rising fast, while the others keep scrambling to catch up.
Governor Walz saying last night he frequently checks Tesla stock, in doing so to, quote, give me a little boost during the day. How should Americans view politicians who take pride in the downfall of an American car company?
I think that's quite sad, but I think Governor Walz unfortunately is living a sad existence after his devastating defeat on November 5th.
Exactly. When your political opponents include Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, the smartest move isn't to argue, it's to give them a microphone and step aside. No debate needed. Every time they speak, they do the job themselves. Kamala's famous word salads, Walz's bizarre statements that sound like they're from another universe. You don't need strategy, just patience. Let them talk. Let the public see it. It's like watching a slow motion collapse, and you don't even have to lift a finger.
Well, I think it was a great reminder to the American people of just how blessed we all are that the leader sitting in the Oval Office today is President Donald Trump and not President Kamala Harris.
Just to add on the Kamala Harris point, I think I speak for everyone at the White House. We encourage Kamala Harris to continue going out and do speaking engagements.
And real quick, if you haven't liked the video or subscribed yet, now's the time. It makes a huge difference, and you definitely don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, back to Tim Walz. Remember when the media hyped him up during his town hall tour? They promoted him like he was the next big Democratic star. Fast forward a few months, silence. After several embarrassing moments, the same outlets that praised him suddenly disappeared. It's almost like they realized their big thing wasn't so big after all. Meanwhile, across the UK, the government is under fire too, this time thanks to Winston Marshall. He's openly calling out the rise of censorship and attacks on free speech. And when musicians sound braver than politicians, you know something has gone seriously wrong. Between the political slip-ups, media spin, and growing backlash against censorship, we're just getting started. Stay tuned, you'll want a front row seat.
In Britain, we have had over a quarter of a million people issued non-crime hate incidents. As we speak, there are people in prison for quite literally reposting memes. With the Trump administration consider political asylum for British citizens in such a situation?
Well, to your latter question, it's a very good one. I have not heard that proposed to the president, nor have I spoken to him about that idea, but I certainly can and talk to our national security team and see if it's something the administration would entertain.
Now here's where it gets interesting. This moment didn't happen in a normal setting, it took place at a White House press briefing created specifically for new media outlets. That's why the room looked different, filled with unfamiliar faces instead of the usual legacy media favorites, and the issue being discussed wasn't new. It was a problem that had been sitting there for months while the mainstream media quietly ignored it. Then one outsider finally asked the tough question, and suddenly the entire room woke up. That single moment shows exactly how traditional media works. It's not about truth, it's about controlling the narrative. If a story doesn't fit their script, they pretend it doesn't exist. That's why these new voices matter. Sometimes it only takes one outsider to break the silence and remind everyone what real journalism looks like.
In the United Kingdom, the vice president has been incredibly outspoken about this for good reason. And the president has spoken about this as well, directly with your prime minister when he was here for a visit to the White House. So it remains a critical endeavor of ours to show the Brits and your country, which we love and admire, about the First Amendment and the importance of free speech in a sovereign nation.
Jeff Bezos also got publicly called out by Karoline, and the way she handled him was simply amazing.
This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
And here's the twist that everyone's missing. Some people say this new move actually helps Amazon customers figure out which products are made outside the US. Basically, it pushes buyers toward American-made goods without even trying. Pretty clever, but imagine if the same thing happened under Trump. The media would be in full meltdown mode. You'd see non-stop headlines about Trump tariffs hurting families or economic disaster incoming. We've seen the routine, panic, outrage, repeat. That's why this moment is so satisfying. Karoline didn't just answer a tough question, she turned it into an opportunity. She stayed calm, confident, and completely unbothered. Bezos had nothing, and to top it off, we end with a jaw-dropper. MSNBC's very own Joy Reid 2.0 just got exposed again for blatant racism, and yes, it happened during another White House briefing aimed at new media. It seems that when the legacy press steps aside, the truth becomes a little too real for comfort. So don't go anywhere.
Racist, what she is saying. The president intends on deporting illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and are not only impacting communities across the country, but in particular communities of color in our inner cities. You remember the story out of New York City where young minority children were kicked out of their public school to make room for illegal immigrants to sleep on the floor of their cafeteria. That is putting America last. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, or creed. If you are a law-abiding American citizen, President Trump is going to put you first. And shame on Simone Sanders for saying that.